talk about art as a roadmap to the soul. So, we talked about honoring the sacred, getting in touch with your emotions, honoring yourself. And for me, what I found, or it found me, uh, art has been a way to do all of that and to uncover more and more of my true self, to expand more into it, to honor it, and to really kind of get onto this adventure of remembering. And it can start as admiring other people's art and tracing the roadmaps that they left when the art comes from the heart and it's authentic. And you can always tell because it moves you. It's the kind of art that when you see it, hear it, you feel something in your heart, in your soul that gets stirred. It could be a film that you watch and all of a sudden you're deeply moved, or a painting that you see, or a song that you just keep listening to on repeat. And then there could also be an impulse that comes through you to express through art. And if you allow yourself the time and the space to just follow that impulse and express whatever wants to be expressed through whatever medium comes natural to you, then you can see that over time, those expressions are leading somewhere. At least for me, that has been the case with my self portraits. Uh, it's like they help me make sense of my emotions. They're usually, like the energy is like very strong, and I have to translate it in some way. And I do. And when I'm taking them, I'm completely in the flow. I lose track of time and space, high banded. And it's like amazing. It's like, wow. So when I got into the NFT space, they introduced that concept of a roadmap. And that's when I started connecting my self portraits into collections and seeing more and more of the bigger picture of what my soul is trying to tell me. Because in this 3D world, we're largely asleep, right? So, art is that space where you can access other dimensions and more of your true self without worrying about anything and without rules, where you could just be free. And then you can get uh, that connection and that insight that you need. And then if you follow it, it takes you on a wild adventure. And the more you follow, the more you see and know, and it's revealed to you. And, you can have like highs and lows in your inspiration. And sometimes the art is pouring in, and sometimes you have a period where it seems like nothing is happening, but things are happening on the inside still. And when you keep track of all of that and revisit the things that you have created, and for me, it's with self portraits and poetry, you can see this thread of what is trying to express and your heart's desire and your soul shining through. And you begin to trust it, and you begin to merge more and more with your higher self and the soul, and you start to use the body as this vehicle for expression of the higher self versus the lower unconscious self. So, art in general is a way to also reach higher levels of consciousness. and get closer to source, because true art that's is inspired comes from there. uh, and it's really magical because although we all have access to the same source, everybody will translate what they get differently, because we have different abilities, and we process things differently. We see, feel, intuit things differently. And it's also really amazing to translate something into art and then see similar threads in somebody else's art, or how they connect and find synchronicities, or how the two of you have been exploring the same idea and you live in completely different parts of the world, and have no contact whatsoever, and then you stumble upon their art, which has happened to me in the NFT space, and it's like, oh my god, look at this, where this and this connects with that and that. And you can see how collectively the art that comes through all of us is a form of channeling and a way to shape the future. It's like puzzle pieces that come together, that carry a similar frequency, and create these new timelines. And it's really magical. And you can also connect with somebody through their art, and find a lot of resonance. Uh, yeah, magical is the word for it. That's all I can say. But to get back on track on the topic, is that art can help you expand tremendously and gives you that freedom of just being. And if you give yourself the time and the space to just be and be bored, and when an impulse comes, follow it. Uh, it's fascinating where it can take you. And it's basically that direct line to your higher self, if you allow that channel to be free and for the divine to communicate with you and through you. And it's really beautiful because it's unique and exciting and always new, and very, very true.